Have you retweeted this? 4,333 people have this incredible cartoon in the Halifax Chronicle Herald. Could there be anyone else who has drawn that other than Bruce MacKinnon, who is the great cartoonist for that newspaper? And he is my guest this morning. And Bruce, I'm so happy to speak to you today. Thank you for being with me and great to see you again.
Thanks very much, Heather. Good to talk to you.
Listen, I'm going to begin our conversation with sharing what somebody just wrote to me this morning. This cartoon goes to the soul of our country and to your readers individually. Congratulations.
It's touching to hear those comments. It's never a kind of subject matter that any cartoonist wants to do. It happened on Friday night, and I woke up Saturday. I didn't have to do a cartoon until the following Wednesday, and I actually really hoped that I wouldn't have to address this issue because it's so dark, and it's you're struggling to find some sort of silver lining in it, and you know, it's just very difficult to find a way to pass on a positive message.
So tell me about how. So this was Friday, as you said. You had until Wednesday. You hoped that maybe it would diminish or go away. Clearly it hasn't. If anything, the support has just grown. And so at one point you realized you had to address it. And then how did you come up with the idea for this?
Well, and the key word, as you say, was support. I woke up on Tuesday just thinking, well, maybe there'll be a bigger story, but there's no bigger story than this now. We had something like 5 stories on the Humboldt tragedy in the paper on Tuesday. And so I said, I guess I really have to deal with this. And basically, you know, people feel frustrated and helpless because they want to help, but there's not much they can do. But the Canadians come together. It really, in some ways, tragedies like this really unify a country. And Canadians have come together. The GoFundMe campaign is almost at a record level. You know, people are putting out their hockey sticks, anything to show support for, you know, Saskatchewan and the town of Humboldt. So it was just a matter of trying to find a metaphor that showed that support, that showed that the way Canadians, you know, come together. And, you know, hockey metaphors, I mean, yeah, Canada is a hockey country. I grew up in a hockey town. I'm very familiar with hockey culture. And we've all seen, you know, images of an injured player being helped off the ice by his teammates. So it started with that germ of an idea, just a couple of players, and it went from there.
It's just so beautiful. I mean, is this something that you draw once you get that metaphor and that central idea? Does it come quickly? Did you do several drafts, or tell me about the process of drawing it?
It actually is a bit of a process like that. It started with a little thumbnail and just one player on either side for support, and the players were just sort of had a Canadian jersey supporting the Saskatchewan player. And then it just felt like it needed more. And sometimes these things are intangible and you're not sure why. But I panned out, I started adding more characters and the names of the provinces. And of course, Alberta on one side and Manitoba on the other side of the Saskatchewan player. You know, obviously those are the neighboring provinces. And those are the provinces that would feel the impact probably more than most. And I sort of built, you know, other players around it. Then, of course, there was New Brunswick, who went through, that province went through a similar tragedy, you know, only 4 or 5 years ago with the basketball team, the high school basketball team. And so they had a prominent, in cartoons like this, nuances are extremely important. People are very emotionally charged, and they need, they will read, you know, everything into the drawing. They will go over it with a fine-tooth comb. So it's very important that everything from gestures to body language are thought out very carefully.
When you finish a creation like this, do you know that you have something extra special?
To be perfectly honest, I almost never know when how a cartoon is going to impact when it appears the next day. And yeah, this was another case. I just hoped that you know, I'd you know, hit the right chord But you're never sure how people are going to interpret such cartoons, especially these types of cartoons. If, you know, we obviously as cartoonists, we really want to make people laugh. And a lot of the time, if you have a great concept, a good punchline or something like that, maybe maybe it's a little more clear because you've run it by your friends or your sounding boards, your editor, what have you. But a lot of the time, even the sounding boards, when you show them an image like this, their reactions aren't clear. It's kind of they have their sensors out too, and these are very emotional moments, and no one's ever really clear how people are going to react.
Well, I think we know now. It's pretty clear. It has set exactly the right tone, and people are sharing it everywhere because of what you've captured. Bruce, thank you for giving us some time this morning. We're going to take one more look at it as we take a little break here. There's Bruce MacKinnon from the Halifax Chronicle Herald, the man who created this. Thanks.